Pro tips for a non-photographer. Do you love taking pictures, but it seems like there's just something missing, like they don't pop. Like there's one thing that just needs to be there and it'll totally take your photo game to another level. Well, I'm gonna give you my 5 biggest tips for every amateur at home to take better photos from a seasoned pro. Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd. I am a professional photographer in Silicon Valley, California. I have had the opportunity to photograph clients from all over the world. I've done magazine covers and album covers. I've got movie covers on Netflix. My work has been up in Times Square in New York City. I've done a lot of really cool shoots and I've learned a lot along the way. So I'm going to share some of that with you. Because when I got started, I had an eye for photography. I loved it, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I dove in and taught myself how to do all of this. I've never actually taken a photography class, but I've been teaching it for 11 years now. So I've got pretty darn good at helping non-photographers learn how to do what we do as pros. So the 5 big tips I'm going to give you today. Number 1, what is the point of the photo? Number 2, check your horizon lines. Number 3, get some good light. Number 4, do not amputate your loved ones. And number 5, how to be in the moment. So firstly, what is the point of the photo? What story are you trying to tell? Now, you might be looking at this and think that is so far beyond what I'm trying to do. I just want cool pictures of my kids or my dog or whatever. And that's totally fine. But when you take the photo, what story are you trying to tell? That is the important thing because you're creating a piece of art, whether you're doing it casually or otherwise. So are your kids playing at the ball in the backyard? Cool. What is the story you're trying to tell? Like photograph them like the superstars they see on TV, or do your kids like to dress up and do something? Is it you and your loved one and you're going out on date night and you just want to take better selfies? So what is the story you are trying to tell? Is it just a simple selfie? Cool. It's probably not going to have a ton of pop. But if you position your camera in a way that makes you look like larger than life and with the city lights in the background and all kinds of stuff going on, then that tells a more powerful story than just a selfie before you go out for dinner. So consider what you're trying to achieve with the image before you take it. It doesn't have to be anything epic. It could literally just be documenting the moment, acknowledging that something happened. But when you put intention behind it and aim to tell a story with the photo, I guarantee you're going to notice significantly more impactful images. Number 2, this is the absolute most common, obvious thing that I see when I'm judging photo competitions or viewing amateur work. The horizons are not level. This one I tilted pretty dramatically because I don't take not level photos. But you can see she's pretty much upright looking in this image, but the horizon is tilted and it looks like she's going to fall off the world. We don't want that. So it is always better to keep your horizon level in your image, and anything else is allowed to be a little bit skewed. But keep the horizons level. To tilt the camera at like 45 degrees for artistic style photos is a really amateur thing to do. And in order to crop them and make them look printable, you're going to have to bring it back to level anyway. So it's best just to do it right when you take the photo. Practice working on taking level photos, whether it is landscape like this or it's flipped upright in portrait mode. All right, number 3 is find some good light. What does that even mean? You should not be darker than the background unless you're going for a full-on silhouette. So if you're in the shade, like I am here in the picture on the left, and everything is super bright behind you, your eyeballs are going to go to the brightest point of the screen, which is the bright sun overexposed area up here. And then secondarily, you look down and see me. This was me teaching at Shutterfest in 2018. Yeah, I still have that banner hanging up in my garage, by the way. But I loved being there. The excitement, the energy, being in the moment was more important to me than trying to, wait to get the right light. But in order to get the right light, I would have had to come back at nighttime, and then the people wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be the same vibe. So don't be afraid to sacrifice a little bit of the technical for the impact on the image. And I'll get more into that in point number 5 when I get there. But if you look at the photo on the right side, I always wear black, so easy comparison. I'm more in the shade. There is still some sunlight. There's a brightish wall behind me, but it's not nearly blown out like a majority of the scene is on the left. So it's easy to see on the right side, I am the focus of the photo. On the left side, it looks like the ceiling and the banner are the focus, and I just happen to be there. So you generally want to be the brightest point in the photo, or whoever you're photographing, make them be the brightest point in the photo, unless you're gonna go full on silhouette. Then that's exactly the opposite. All right, number 4, do not amputate your loved ones. Nicholas here, I did a pretty cool branding session with him. He's another local business owner. And here is just comfy cash photo that we took. But one thing I see all the time is this. Notice his left hand. The fingers are now cut off. I see this, or I see the middle of feet cut off, or someone's got their hands out. The hands, something is chopped off. Now, there are appropriate places to crop through a body. Like here, below the waist. Appropriate place to crop through the body. But not if it means cutting the fingers off. I would definitely move the hand a little bit in this scenario if I really wanted to crop through the waist, but that's also not an appropriate crop point. This isn't the video to go into detail about all the different lines that you're allowed to crop through a body and have it still look acceptable. But keep that in mind when you're positioning people in your frame. Don't chop off toes or fingers or the top of their head or little things like that. Don't cram them super close to the edge of the frame. Like in this one, his hair is real close to the top. In this one, I guess it's the same, but we have more space on the sides. It feels less crowded. So consider how crowded or amputated your subjects will be in the photo. Okay, and number 5, this to me is the absolute biggest one, because for me, the connection, the energy, the human aspect of the photo is a million times more important than the technical details. So the image on the left is the one that we were going for, photographing this dance team, but we were having so much fun out there that day, I wasn't gonna miss the opportunity to get the real moments that happened in between the shots, like you see here on the right. So I'm cutting their feet off. The light isn't perfect on them. It's probably a little bit tilted. Not an ideal photo, but we're in the moment and we were having fun. And it was great to share those images with them as well. So when I do any kind of photo shoot, I always love getting the in-between moments. And I would 100% present that to my client. And I would, obviously when we're going through and seeing photos like here on the left, high production value images, I'm going to include the other ones too and be like, hey, I know, this probably isn't going to go up on the wall. You're not going to use this to advertise your studio, but the moment was real and I wanted you to at least have an option to have the photo. So at all of my shoots, I include like the silly behind the scenes stuff too, because again, it's real. It was from part of the experience and that's really where the magic is. So as much as we want to focus on the light and the crop and the horizon lines and everything else, we're there to have fun and to be in the moment. And as soon as photography takes you from a point of observing the beautiful things around us to ignoring all the beauty around us to engineer the perfect image, then you're disconnected from reality and the people around you and the ones who are actually there to share those moments with you. So when you're out on vacation with your family and you want to take beautiful photos of the places you go, amazing. But also put the camera down and be in the moment, hang with them, or take a quick photo of all of you together and then go do fun things, because that's what you're going to remember and that's what you're going to hold on to, as cool as the other photos are. So those are my 5 tips for upping your game as an amateur photographer from a seasoned pro. Number 1, what story are you trying to tell? Why are you even taking the photo? Number 2, Horizon lines, get your horizons level. Number 3, find some good light so that you're not the darkest point in the image. Number 4, don't amputate your loved ones. And number 5, be in the moment. Capture all of the things that actually matter to us. I have other great videos on this channel about photography, about posing, about finding locations. And if you're like, that's cool, Mike, but I would rather just find a photographer to do all this stuff for me, cool. I got videos for you there too. So subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of those, because I talk about how to find a photographer, where to find one, how to make sure they're the right fit for you. And if you're curious about getting in front of my camera, I would love to have that conversation with you. Head to MikeLloydStudios.com and we can chat all about putting together an incredible portrait experience. You are amazing. We'll see you inside.